What is going on, everybody? It's been a little while since I uploaded a video. I've been pretty busy working on side jobs and things like that. I got that bumper painted for the Tahoe. Didn't film too much of that, not as much as I would have liked. But yeah, in other news, the Honda is still smoking, like pretty good. Yeah, it's tough because I drive, to work in the morning and it's kind of dim. And now on my way home today, it was kind of dark out as well, so I'm not really able to see the smoke as well. So I'm gonna keep driving it, but I do think the motor's gonna come out soon. So stay tuned for that. I'll definitely be uploading videos on the motor rebuild for sure. So tonight though, I'm working on my buddy's Ford Explorer. It's a 2006 Explorer. He's had it for a long time, high mileage car, but the thing's pretty good shape, it's in pretty good shape. So we're gonna do front brakes on it, and also I'm diagnosing a check engine light. So I've already went ahead and scanned it, but I'll show you guys how I scan it and what my diagnostic step is in this case. So I won't spoil what it is, but we'll get there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it in and change the brakes on it. I've done that a few times in some of my videos, so I don't think I'm gonna put anything about the brakes in there, but we'll pick up when I'm scanning the codes in the Explorer. So you guys just saw me do a quick brake job, just a pad slap on this thing. It doesn't take long at all. But while I was in there, the calipers seemed like they were a little bit difficult to compress the piston. I actually had trouble on the first one. I had to get some different pliers. They make a tool for it. It kind of reminds me, it's like a caulk gun, but it's for dual piston calipers, because this is tough because there's two pistons on it, as you'll probably see in the video clip. But yeah, when there's two pistons, you have to push them both down at the same time. So I put a pad on it, and then I squeeze the pad with the welding pliers, just a little bit at a time until we get it to go in. And it was having a tough time going in, so sometimes you wonder if it's your actual calipers that are frozen, or if it's actually the lines that go to the calipers, the rubber lines, if those are clogged. And a good way to check for that, if you're interested, on this car, the brake pad wear was relatively even on both sides. So if there is an issue, it's even on both sides. So at least the pads will wear evenly and you won't be metal to metal on one side, which could be catastrophic. But, this will probably be the last time that this car can be pad slapped. Those rotors will probably get changed on the next time. This car's not going to be driven that much, so probably won't need them for a while. But yeah, with that being said, if you crack the bleeder and then you go to squeeze on the pistons themselves, then if the pressure is relieved, then the caliper's functioning properly, and it's most likely a clogged line, and you can go ahead and change the line. I also noticed that when I was pushing the actual pistons in themselves in the caliper, if I would let off, the pistons would sort of come back out a little bit, which tells me there's some sort of restriction in the line, or the line's building up pressure. So may have some clogged lines, but since it was wearing evenly, I think we'll be okay. Might wear out the pads a little bit sooner than it should, but it's definitely going to stop. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and diag the issue that we have a check engine light now. So we're gonna go ahead and scan it and see what kind of codes we can get. Okay, so we have our key on, and we're gonna hit read, and now it's going to read the codes, and this takes a while. Okay, so it did find one code, so we're going to hit enter, and the code says exhaust gas recirculation flow insufficient is what it's going to say. So EGR, so we know that we have an EGR valve issue here, so we have insufficient flow with the EGR. So what the EGR does is it injects exhaust gases into your intake in order to reduce cylinder head temperatures, and that helps to reduce the chances of detonation, as well as give you better gas mileage and all sorts of good things. So if we have an EGR code, we have something wrong with the EGR system. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the EGR valve out from under the hood there. We'll see where it's located at, and I'll take it off. We'll see if it's all gunked up, because a lot of times EGR valves tend to get gunked up just because they are injecting exhaust gases into the intake, and the exhaust gases are full of carbon. So if you got a bunch of carbon running through pipes, it's going to get stuck up on there over time, and in this case, that's probably what's going to be our issue. We're going to see if we have a stuck valve, or the solenoid needs to be changed, or if it's just gunked up with carbon and we can clean it out and get the code to go off. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood, and we'll find out where this EGR is located at. So I was able to locate the EGR in this particular vehicle, and in this car it happens to be back here, and you can see right there that is our EGR. So the module is on top of the actual EGR itself. It's hard for me to get good lighting, but I'm going to move some stuff, get some stuff out of the way. That connector that's unplugged there is unplugged from the EGR. But yeah, I'm going to unplug some stuff, get some stuff out of the way here. Mainly I'm going to take out this intake here. This intake box is coming out, along with all these connected hoses and connectors, some of which I already disconnected. This one has a little lock. That red tab has to snap out first, and then you can squeeze it down and pull it off. And I'm probably going to take off the throttle body too, just to give me a little bit better access back there, because it's kind of tough to get to, and you have to lean over the car. So yeah, I'm going to get started on that. Taking off the intake will be pretty simple. I'll let you guys know how I did it. So before I actually took off the EGR, I wanted to do a single diagnostic step. I read something online about common clogs, and I guess this hose right here and the black box that it leads to can sometimes get clogged. So what I did was I fired up the car with that hose disconnected, and I put my finger over the hose, and I could tell that the car had a high idle. When I put my finger over the hose, it sort of fixed it, so meaning that there was a vacuum leak, and that hose right there was actually sucking. So that hose is not clogged, and the black box that it's connected to underneath is also not clogged. So if that's the case, it could be the electronic portion on top that's actually broken, and in that case I think we're going to have to take it apart either way. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this intake section here and the throttle body so I can get to this guy back here. But yeah, so that was a good step to do, because if that was clogged, then I would know something was going on. It could be clogged on the side where it goes from the manifold to the EGR as well, the exhaust manifold. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and probably take it apart, and we'll see if it's clogged, or maybe it's the electronic portion that's broken. So a little update, I took off that guy right there, which is our throttle body, and it was just 4 bolts in all 4 corners. There was a 10 millimeter on this top corner right here that held a bracket on, and then after that there was an 8 connected that went all the way through, and then the other 3 are just 8s. So 4 8s and then 1 10 nut on the end of this stud, and that thing just falls right off. And now we're looking in here at our actual EGR system. You can get a better look at it. I'm going to get a bit of a better flashlight in here. Alright, so hopefully you can see that better. Back here behind these wires, this is our EGR, and this right here is where the throttle body is mounted. So you can see this pipe right here actually comes in from back here, and that pipe right there is where the EGR goes in. So when I was running the car, what I did was, that pipe is connected in the intake, so it's going to have a vacuum with the engine, and it just kind of stops right there. So that's going to actually pull from this guy right here, which keeps a suction on that hose. So when I remove that hose, it was just sucking from the intake. So I know that this entire system that goes into the intake is not clogged. So therefore, you can see this pipe back right here, this pipe, that's the one that goes down to the manifold. See if you can see it down there. But that goes all the way with another similar nut to that one up there, all the way down on the exhaust manifold. So if I take this guy off now, which I plan to, then we're going to see if that's clogged. And if that's clogged, then we know that's our problem. And if that isn't clogged, then we know it's some sort of electrical problem. Okay, so what I just did was remove that line there, the one that goes from the manifold up to the side of the EGR. So I just used an adjustable wrench, and I had this stuff called fluid film lying around from when I did some undercoating, and it seemed to work. WD-40 or PB Blast or whatever you want to use, just spray it first because it's kind of rusted, it's been through a lot of heat cycles, and then I ended up putting a breaker bar on the end of my adjustable wrench, and I busted it loose rather easily. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get the one on the bottom of the manifold down there. It's going to be hard to get to. Maybe I should have done that while I had the wheel off. We'll see if I can get to it down there. I'll let you guys know which angle I ended up attacking it from though. So I got the EGR out of the car. You can see here's our gasket right here. You don't want to lose that. We can probably reuse that if we end up throwing this unit back on. But those are the two bolts that are on from the back. They're 10 millimeter and they're insanely tight. I had a hell of a time getting them loose. I decided not to pull the pipe that goes down to the exhaust because I can probably just shoot compressed air through there and test it without pulling it off of the bottom, because that seemed like more work than pulling this off. But yeah, this turned into be a project as well. But I'm going to do a little research and figure out which of these little vacuum holes go where and which ones need to be open and which ones need to be closed, because blowing into a couple of them don't flow air. So I don't know if they're clogged or they're supposed to be closed. So I'm going to do a little research and I'll get back to you guys. But yeah, we got this thing out, so we're going to see what's wrong with it. Could be the electronics portion. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Where this pipe is, this guy goes down to the exhaust manifold that was hooked up to the EGR. I was taking my compressed air and blowing it inside here. And you can hear that the air is going inside, whereas this is outside. Which means that is not clogged. So if that guy is not clogged, then we know we do have a problem with the EGR valve itself. So I'm going to order a new EGR valve for this thing, and putting that in here should fix our problem. So yeah, I think that's going to cap it off for this video. I'm going to get that EGR ordered, and I'll show putting it in another clip maybe. But as for right now, yeah, I'm going to cut it off here. Hopefully you enjoyed the diag process, and hopefully we'll move to getting it fixed pretty soon. I think I'll grab it apart on Thursday. It's Tuesday now, so I'll try to post this video tonight. And yeah, I look forward to some more videos. Honda Teardown is coming up pretty soon. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, everybody.